I do want to talk about the Sixers here next up. We talked about it throughout the week. We got kind of hot opinion yesterday about it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's an absolute shit show, man. What's your thoughts on what's going on this all season?
Man, I'm just confused, on everything that's transpired. There's been just a lot of misdirection that has been spewed through the media, starting back to Christmas, right? When James Harden had this article drop about him about his interest of going back to Houston. It started there. That's where the confusion came in, right? Where I'm just looking at the Sixers. They're in December. It's Christmas. We're getting ready for, the second half of the year, getting close to the All-Star break and starting to think about the playoffs. Yet we have to think about Harden's contract as we're going into the new year. And that was weird to me. Then it continues into this offseason, right? And you get to this point where James Harden is calling Daryl Morey a liar publicly. And I just have to ask myself, like, James Harden, you had the control in your hands. Like, the control was there for you. You can opt out and go into free agency. He had that option. So why did you allow the opportunity for Daryl Morey to lie to you? Why are you relying on somebody's word when it comes to business? And I just thought that was, something very immature of James to do out in China. I thought, it's great for headlines. It's great for publicity, but not for the Sixers, right? When it comes to that perspective. And it's kind of damning to Daryl Morey, man. Whether you believe that he lied to Harden or not, when a player comes out and says this, who has ties to players around the league, right? Players around the NBA, it's damning, and it makes the Sixers and it makes Daryl Morey, it makes them look bad, regardless of if it's true or not, as soon as he puts that out into the headlines. So to that point, I'm, really just tired of it. I'm tired of the drama. It's like sickening that we have to go through what we went through with Ben Simmons, right? After we supported him the way we supported him. Now we have to go through it with James Harden, where now you have these Harden stands online that will like point it back at us saying that we like turned on Harden. No, Harden turned on us when he started these smoke screens with the interest from elsewhere and the interest of him returning to Houston or going elsewhere. And to that point, it just all feels very delusional from Harden's standpoint. Like, if you wanted a max contract, if you think you're worth that, why didn't you enter free agency? Like, it just doesn't make sense, man. And to that point, I'm obviously worried about what Embiid is feeling. You have the smoke signals from him via Twitter. It's just a real shit show when it comes to the Sixers. And it's annoying that it's like dragging, attention away from the rest of the city, right? When it comes to the Union, who are doing very well right now. When it comes to the Phillies, who are at the top of the wild card seating when it comes to postseason play in the MLB. They're playing well. And then, of course, the Eagles season coming up here soon. It's really just distasteful for me to have to divulge attention to that team for this type of information, this type of media and publicity. It's just bad for the organization, and it shows what's going wrong all throughout it, right? There's blame that can go in each and every direction in this organization. Probably starts at the top with ownership, man.
That is a good point. What's up, Marshall? What's going on, man? Harden's taste in teams exactly Michelin star.
Yeah, it's so weird. He wants, like, do you want to compete for a championship or not? Like, do the Clippers, like, he came out of last season, with the statement that he wanted more involvement in running the offense and the offense being centered around him. Going to the Clippers isn't going to do that for you. They have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Those guys are going to be offensive options before James Harden is. So I just don't understand the motivation. I don't understand this guy at all, man.
Yeah, you know what it is here with Harden is that like Harden wants everything to go in Harden's way. He's being a little bit of a spoiled brat in the situation.
Yeah,
I've talked about this before. So Harden's his demeanor and the reason why he feels the way he does towards Daryl Morey last year when Harden signed that deal, the year deal with the option for the second year, he was told by Morey that if he signs his deal, he would take care of him the following year. Just for this one, he needed to sign that one so that the Sixers could open money to sign other players and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So when this year, we going into the option part of it, the deal, and, Harden's looking at the Sixers and waiting for them to throw $40-some million a year at him for 5 years, and they're not doing that. Harden's, and then at that point he's going, well, why you told me last year you were going to pay me now?
Yeah.
But if you look at it in a business aspect, why would the Sixers tie themselves up to a bad contract to a player? I mean, let's face it, he did have a good year last year. I mean, he led the NBA in assists, and he did help us get back to the second round, something we've already done before he's been here. He did have a solid year, but if anyone's going to sit here and tell me that he's worth over 40 million, worth over 30 million, I mean, I'm sorry, but you're crazy. He's not. To me, he's in the $20 million range, 20 to 25, like that, around that range is where that's where I believe he's at.
Yeah.
So Harden's just a little bit naive, and then now So to your point, free agency. So he looked around the NBA. Those Houston rumors, I believe 100%.
Yeah.
But even Houston, the team that pretty much made him, they even said, we're good. They gave the money to Van Vliet.
Yep.
And so that should be the writing on the wall to Harden, that you're not the hot shit no more. People still want you, yes, but not at the price that you believe that you're worth. And you know why he wants to go to the Clippers? Because yes, he still wants to win. But just like what happened this past year, when the Sixers lost, who got majority of the blame? Harden and Embiid.
Yeah.
Harden hated that because in his eyes, he gave it his all, which maybe the talent around Harden and Embiid wasn't enough to beat the likes of the Boston Celtics. But I'll tell you this, the core of the Boston Celtics was and still is better than what the core is of the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's the big reason why you lost in 7 games. Overall, Boston was the better team.
Yeah.
So now James is like, well, I want to go to LA. I want to live a nice life. I want to continue my brand. Yeah. Look, that's why he's in China right now. He's advocating his brand. So he wants to go to LA, wants to go play with the Clippers. He wants to hide behind Paul George and Reggie Jackson and Tyronn Lue and all those guys. He just wants to play ball and play the way he wants to. And this is why, like, Scotty, I'm so fed up with the Sixers. Yeah. Because like a lot of us, I stuck with this team since that Drew Holiday trade on draft night. I said, all right, we'll see where this goes. Where most people are freaking out, and still to this day we're not for that. I stuck with this team, and for us to go through all these freaking, I'm done, dude. I'm honestly, like, when I heard James Harden come out with those comments about that, I literally laughed my ass off because I'm numb and I'm just fed up with the situation, bro.
Yeah, and it's the drama didn't just start with Ben Simmons, 2 years ago, right? Like, it didn't start there, right? The drama started with all the bad decisions that were made leading up to that. Regardless of the situation with Markelle Fultz and Jason Tatum, you gave the Boston Celtics an extra first-round pick to take the guy that they wanted. Yeah. So that was one of the first mistakes, regardless of how you feel about Markelle versus Jason Tatum at the time. Then you go on, you draft the right guy in Mikal Bridges. You drafted him, and you trade him for Zion Smith. Like, I'll never understand that. It is a slap in the face to his mother that worked for the organization. We will never, ever understand that. And it's hard to imagine ever having a chance at ever getting that homegrown guy back in your city again, right? He's disgruntled about it. He still talks about it every day on every podcast that he goes on, man. So it shows you how mad he was. And then you just get to the Jimmy Butler situation, paying Tobias the max contract, so on and so forth. We've been through it so many times. We've talked about it so many times. But
Colangelo burner account, dude.
The Colangelo burner account, man. Like, come on. Like, we have gone through so much, and it just won't stop to the point where we get outed in the second round again, right? We take Boston to the 7 games and get outed in the second round, and we can't just chill this offseason. We can't just be, teased by other fan bases, teased by the Denver Nuggets fan base for Jokic winning the championship. It can't stop there. We have to have James Harden in China calling our GM a liar, our president of basketball a liar. And to Marshawn Lynch's point there, he says China deserves to see him play, man. I feel like that's where he's headed. Like, he's headed out of the NBA with his diva status.
Did you hear Perkins' comments,
with, man? Did hear whose?
Kendrick Perkins' comments.
Yeah, that's exactly who I'm kind of referencing here. His tweet that he put out earlier today. which got a lot of negative feedback. Everybody's calling Perk crazy, but look around the NBA. Who's knocking on the Sixers' door? Who's ringing the phone up, calling Daryl Morey, offering a plausible, a feasible return for James Harden, who actually want him? If the Clippers wanted him, they could get him for the right price, and they won't do it. They won't even offer Terrence Mann, a guy that averaged 10 points last year. Like, this is where his value is at. Yet he's in China calling Daryl Morey a liar, acting like Daryl Morey's crazy for not paying him a max contract. Like, nobody is. Nobody wants to do that.
And now PJ Tucker's backing him up too. Like,
oh my God. And the thing with PJ Tucker, it's like, dude, you're backing James Harden, but Daryl Morey gave you that overpriced contract. He guaranteed those funds for you. So, like, you're going to throw shade at Daryl Morey. I don't know why you would do that, but he's more than welcome to leave. I mean, was he that much of a difference maker that year? We ended up in the same spot.
yeah.
So, if he wants to act like that, he's a guy, something totally off base with Harden and PJ Tucker. No wives, no kids, just partying all the time, man. Party animals. I actually commend them for that lifestyle because I'm turning 30 this year, bro, and I get hungover for days after a night out. So for Harden and PJ to be, traveling around the world, drinking, being with girls all the time, different clubs and stuff, kudos to them because they got the tolerance of a champion. But I don't understand those guys at all from like a personal standpoint or a basketball standpoint.
You know what it is that we ain't got money to be drinking top shelf shit, bro.
Right. That stuff brings us down. They're drinking the best stuff possible. Yeah. So you are right there. You're right.
My only issue with keeping Morey is that Harden mess signals to Joel and others. Here's the thing. There used to be this notion, this mindset in all sports. If you don't win a championship, everyone's job is on the line. Like, and all of a sudden now, like, that's going out the door. Now, if you're producing, you're putting up stats, you should be safe. Like, no, I don't understand where that notion kind of changed.
I agree with that.
But like, dude, we failed. I'm sorry, but last year we failed. Yeah, no one's job it was safe. And so, if these guys are having a tough time understanding that, I mean, we have a bigger problem on our hands, man.
Where are you at with Joel Embiid, man?
I mean, whatever the big man wants to do. I can't even blame Joe. I mean, think about it. We've been through a lot of shit. I mean, Joel's been through so much shit, bro. Like the injuries coming into the league. And then, he suffers the playoff loss to Boston and to Toronto the following year. The year they get swept in the bubble. The Ben Simmons shit. Now James Harden. Like, he's really been like, I don't even blame him for feeling the way he does. If he wants out, like, I can't say like, Joel, what's wrong with you? Like, no, like, we've done this to ourselves. I'm at the point now where, like, the thing is too, Morey put us in a bad spot where we don't even have a first round pick for 2 years, bro. So, like, for an example, if you wanted to blow it up this year, you're gonna have to go full Brooklyn Nets. You're gonna just have to develop guys, G Leaguers, and then just suck for 2 years, and so it's just not a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I actually agree with what Marshawn Lynch said there. Like, I agree with what you said as well. Like, whatever Joel wants, like, I'm not going to sit here and pin him to the cross. Now, I'm not one of those guys that is going to support him no matter where he goes, right? I'm a Philly guy through and through, so that's not going to happen if he goes to the Miami Heat and plays with Jimmy, or if he goes to, wherever he would end up, whether that's on a rival or not. But he deserves a chance, right? A fair chance outside of a drama-filled organization. I think that's more than fair to say. It's annoying, the smoke signal, man, that he sends on social media, the different things that he says, the trolling. He's an interesting character, but yeah, I think he's earned the right to do what he wants at this point.
For sure, man. E-Money Bentley, what's going on, man? We need a lot of females to talk about that. I think there's a good amount of females in the media, man. Yeah. I don't know who exactly you're looking for, but we got plenty. We
can always use more, but I mean, I think we got some very talented females that cover the birds for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Furkan gets $5 million sit on the bench, and he wanted out. Dude,
that shows you what type of train wreck we're discussing here, right? When Furkan Korkmaz, has requested and demanded a trade like 3 to 4 times.
Dude, trade him to like Detroit or something. Let's get a nice little wing piece that can help us out here, man. Anything else?
Man,
And
I agree.
Harden repeated it, said it twice. Said it twice. Yeah,
It's
literally.
damning, man. It's damning for Morey. I do agree. It does cause concern when it comes to trust. Like the goal now, it feels like, is get through this Harden situation, get through Tobias's last year of his contract, and you have the 2 max slots next off season. But
Yes, it's
if
right there.
nobody trusts your president of basketball, yeah, exactly. Who would it even be? Pascal Siakam? Are we giving him that 5-year supermax? Like, no, I'm not with that. Like, I'm not with giving another bad contract that doesn't fit the squad. But 35-year-old Klay Thompson, maybe. I have no clue. And who's really going to trust Daryl Morey in the first
The
place?
problem is too, like if we were to do a rebuild, I actually think we have the perfect coach for it. But I don't
We
even know if
do.
I don't even know if he would even get that shot with what's about to happen in the next couple of years. But
Yeah, like if he's a one and done, if they do blow this thing up.
I know,
Because
man.
maybe he's in this frame of mind where, I've won a championship. I've tried to develop guys in Toronto. I don't need to go through this type of rebuild again. I need to be with a contender that has a chance at a championship this season. So I could understand that perspective from Nurse. It just sucks because it feels like we finally got the right coach in here, man. Like to develop talent and get the most out of this roster. And of course, it comes with all this dysfunction.
That's so Sixers. Literally.
Never fails, man.
Dude, those passports are wild, bro.
Yeah, they're tagged up, boy. I tell you, it was crazy, man. And I saw Joel was like trying to talk to James, try to get him to come back and play for the Sixers. It's like, bro, Joel, stop friending this man up because this man didn't even come to your wedding. He was down in Miami or Houston, eating burgers and partying with strippers. Like this dude's priorities are out of this world.
I was wondering what happened to Bun B, and he's out here fucking
giving burgers to Harden and PJ, man.
Oh wow, there's Bun B. Now I figure that out here, man.
That's a good promotion for Bun B, though. I didn't know he was like giving out burgers these days. But Bun B, I mean, that fits a burger for sure.
Martian things, Pascal and Clay, dude. Yeah, man. I'm I'm gonna be all in on the blowing it up if we don't.
They're gonna re-sign Tobias, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Just let the man free. Let him free. Listen, there's not many 6'10" power forwards that can shoot, run, and defend the top. All right, Tobias. Whatever you say, brother. Whatever you say.